Okay. Hey everyone, Professor Oak. We have a lot to talk about today. We had Collectacon. We had a new set release from a new generation release, let's say, from Pokemon. We had Brilliant Stars releasing as a set this week, and we also have new data, which is pretty interesting too. So a lot going on. I think we should probably kick off with Brilliant Stars. We'll go in chronological order, I guess. So Brilliant Stars released Friday. It seems from everything that I've seen that people are getting fantastic hits. The reverse slot for the trainer side of stuff is hitting some pretty juicy cards there, and then the rare slot, it seems to be getting some pretty good action too. Most people I've spoke with and heard from and seen on YouTube seems to be that there's a mixture of cards. The set is so big that someone's hitting something most of the time. Personally, I last night opened 10 blister packs. I did get the booster, ETB right there. But I opened 10 booster packs and I got one hit. Literally one hit. And I got 9 non-holo rares in the rare slot. So probably the worst pulls I've ever had from any set so far. But still fun, still some cool cards in there. Still code cards to use on the game. You got to look on the upside. Only 10 packs, don't blow a lot of money. It's not like a booster box with just one hit, so I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, I think I think there's something to be said there just on the randomization of the pack drops. In that sense, I think you probably, from what I can tell, better off buying a product in terms of a box blister, blister pack. The triple blisters, um, or a booster box ETB, something like that. So I would go that route as opposed to the random single blisters with booster packs inside. But yeah, don't really know what to say about that. Wasn't fantastic, but is what it is. Moving on to Collectacon, yesterday, Saturday in Orlando was fantastic. The car park was full, so it was a bit of an interesting start. The car park was full. I had to drive to the south building, walk about, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile or so to the location. It was a pretty far walk. It took me a while, but when I got there, I had no idea it was going to be so busy. I mean, Collecticon Orlando was packed. There was everyone you can think of was there. So that was fun. It was interesting walking around, seeing the different vendors. Saw people doing autographs. There was shows on going on. We saw Vanilla Ice perform, Ice Ice Baby. Um, the voice Eric Stewart, the voice of Brock, was there. We had Sarah Natcheni. Um, Ash. We had Erica Schroeder there. All the regulars were there. Jason Page was there. All the classics from back in the day, they were all there, and a lot of people from doing modern voices right now, anime stuff. Some Yu-Gi-Oh people were there. Definitely some famous. So Dr. Applesauce, he was doing the panel with Christine Vox and a couple of the other people. Got some interesting questions when I stood in the panel there. It was pretty fun to watch and listen in on that discussion. So Alan Grown, he was doing a whatnot stream there. That was super exciting. A lot of hype, a lot of people around. Um, who else did I see? Bunch of people, bunch of famous people. Absolutely massive Metazoo section. I mean, they must have spent a fortune. Just an incredible area that was set up. Huge line. Obviously, everyone excited. I was too late to get in on the promos, but apparently at the beginning they were giving out promos at the beginning of the day. I guess they ran out because it really was so busy with people coming in. There's a lot of ticket holders for this event. And then started walking through the vendors. Saw a lot of cool people. Crystal, Pokemon Pallet Town was there, and then Nick. They were all in a similar area. Nick with old school Pokemon. So fantastic seeing those guys. I mean, it was so fun to see them and see the stuff they had for sale. They had a lot of cool slabs. Some pretty good variation. I mean, something to appeal to everyone. They did a really good job selecting out what things to bring and what to display. Um, Definitely some action going on there. A lot of interest I could see on their booths. So I was really happy for them. It was really exciting. And also just getting to meet them. I even managed to get a picture with Nick. It was really cool. I should have got one of the other guys, but you know it was so busy. It was crazy there. I didn't want to hassle everybody for a picture. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun. After that walk around, I got with Pokekeen and his wife. They were absolutely delightful. I had such a fantastic time. We ended up walking around a few stores together, watched the Vanilla Ice show together, and then we moved on to. He got some packs, a couple ETBs. We moved on to an area where we could kind of be out of the way because it was so busy and so loud. So we moved out of the way. We busted some packs together. You can see on my previous video, if you go back to my library, you can see us opening that. He had a card in mind that he wanted to pull, and he pulled it. I had absolutely no hits, just like the Brilliant Start situation. I had no hits on the packs that I was opening for them, but I opened them up, and on the last pack, I finally got a hit. So I managed to redeem myself in that sense. Um, but yeah, it was fun. We ended up chatting after for a little while. I had a really good time with the both of them. I'm looking forward to the next time I see them. Um, yeah, and then moving on to today, we have the new generation that was been released. Pretty interesting little duck there. I'm sure most of you have already seen it. Um, some pretty interesting starters, but fun. It's all fun. We can't beat Pokemon down. A lot of people obviously not gonna like it. A lot of people will like it. It's been the same for every generation. People have poked fun of it ever since the Gen One because they were prime time. They were the big guns. So it's you're never gonna be able to beat them. But yeah, let's see what comes of that. I think we've still got quite a while till anything comes out. Obviously, the new game's going to be towards the end of the year. New set towards the end of the year, maybe the turn of the year. Could even be this time next year for the first set on that new generation. But yeah, pretty fun. So let's dive into this data. You guys probably already been looking at it. You can see, but you can see base. Yeah, 4,933 cards graded this week. You can see out of that 591 were PSA 10s and just 6 PSA 10 hollows. Pretty low. 1%, slightly over 1%. Jungle, 1600. 1 was a PSA 10 hollow. These numbers still, I still think it's so crazy just how many we're knocking out. 1,500 fossil cards got graded this week, and 5 were PSA 10 hollow. So, between it, you got 5 there, 1.5 there, 1.5 there. So what's 8,000 cards. Out of 8,000 cards, we have just hitting double digits. I mean, 12 cards in 8,000 are a PSA 10 hollow on the biggest 3 sets from the original WOTC era that really mean the most and connect most to most people. That's crazy. So it just shows the kind of stuff being sent in and the critical aspect of PSA right now. Moving into base, we have come over to this screen. So we've got base 2, 515 this week. 57 were PSA 10 PSA 10 the hollows, none. There wasn't a single PSA 10 base hollow. They do have a much smaller number getting graded each week compared, in comparison to the other sets. But I still think it's interesting. 500 and not a single one out of 500 was good enough to hit the 10 holo. Yeah, I don't know. Rocket 1700 was sent and 11 hit the holo. So yeah, definitely some good movement on Rocket. Pretty much you can see every week pretty much there's been almost or has been double digits. And then moving into Heroes, they've been pretty consistent, but this week just 3 out of 453 were 10 holo. Moving into Challenge, 14 out of 430 were PSA 10 holo. So double digits, they've been pretty consistent, much stronger each week. I mean, you can see pretty clearly, much stronger each week than Gym Heroes. But then moving into next generation, we've got Genesis, Discovery, Revelation. You can see pretty cool here. 705, 288 and 1, 133 and 0. I mean, the numbers are just so small. They're single digits all around. I mean, just everywhere you look, everything's single digits. Skyridge 8. I mean, not a single one in double digits for the 10 holos this week on any of these sets, despite there being hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cards graded. There's just barely anything coming through. Now, something I did do, which I thought was interesting, was I pulled Sword and Shield base cards, how many were graded and how many were a 10. Guys, look at this number. What the heck? 18,738 cards were graded from Sword and Shield base, and nearly 14,000 of those are a 10. I mean, that's ridiculous. In terms of numbers graded, it's pretty comparable with Aquapolis. I mean, we're talking, 400 away. But Aquapolis has just a little over 19,000 graded, and 2,000 are a 10 holo, right? 5,500 are a 10. Sword and Shield base, we're talking almost 19,000, pretty comparable, but almost 14,000 are a PSA 10. That just shows like the disparity between WOTC and modern. And when people say don't invest in modern, there's so many more numbers, you can see it pretty clearly there. That is a significant difference in the 10 price. Yet modern cards, people are still after them. People still want modern PSA 10s and paying bucks for them. I mean they're going for decent prices. You got Aquapolis right here. It's insane. I mean, just the disparity between those two, despite being a similar amount graded, and the fact that there is a similar amount graded. You've had 20 plus years to, I guess 19 years, 2003 Aquapolis, but you've had 19 years to send in cards for Aquapolis to PSA, and they're only a few hundred away from Sword and Shield base that has been out a couple of years. I mean, it's February 2020, Sword and Shield base came out. People are sending modern. I mean, it's the numbers are right there. I wanted to do that just to kind of compare between the two, and it's there. You can also see I did pull February's numbers for the whole month because we now have a full month of data. 4 weeks. This is the 5th week, and 24,000 base cards got graded in February. 24,000 base cards could potentially hit eBay, PWCC, wherever for this month. 31 PSA 10 holos for base set out of 24,000. The numbers are so low. Jumping down, I did pull the total. So this week 63 PSA 10 holos. We can probably, let's add up real quick. 42, 42, 71. Okay, let's add this up. Let's add the past 4 weeks up and see what we're talking about. 311. That's crazy. That's crazy. Wow. So yeah, I mean it's right there. 311 PSA 10s for the whole of February, one whole month, and they're knocking out 40,000 cards a day. And WOTC Pokemon cards, we've got 311. I mean, we're talking thousands upon thousands. You can see this whole graph. There's just thousands and thousands of cards everywhere, every week, every day. There's just such big numbers, and the tens just isn't there. I mean, if you're talking about investing and doing something, holding on, whatever you want to do, like if you're gonna do something, PSA 10 holes is where it's at for the WOTC era. That you've got to get in on that, got to get involved in that. I would think probably Legendary Collection, the reverse hollows too. I would imagine it's probably even harder. I could probably pull those numbers at some point, but I mean they haven't had a PSA 10 hollow the whole time I've pulled it. Zero, 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 zero. It's just not happening. And I know they're sending them in because there's been 1,100 sent in and graded this week. Just this week alone, there was 1,100. So I know for a fact that they're getting sent in. It's 36,000. The population today of how many were graded. Guys, these numbers are crazy. It's insane. So what I did do also, I want to show you, was I pulled these populations. I want to see for February, the totals and kind of see where we're at in terms of each set, what they look like. The biggest population graded was base, jungle, rocket, fossil. I mean, there's no surprises there. That's what everyone had in the binders this time, a little over a year ago, when everyone was sending in the cards. Challenge against heroes right up there. Neo Genesis, that was pretty early into the Gen 2. Base 2 is just not loved, but Neos, Legendary, and then Expedition Skyridge Aquapolis. It goes in pretty much almost chronological order, just because the drift off away from the excitement from base. It's always going to be base and drifting away further. So in terms of how many population wise are getting graded, that makes sense because how many were out there, in people's binders. Now when we're talking the PSA 10 pop, so let's move this to largest. Base, rocket, jungle, fossil, challenge. Again, it's almost in exact order. And then the second half, the lower end gets a little loopy. This bunch right here, not quite as clear. Now let's take a look at that PSA 10 hollow population. Rocket for February was the highest by far, nowhere near base. Rocket had 55 graded PSA 10 hollows. I would imagine a lot of the Gyarados, the Charizard, the Blastoise, probably some of the big hitters were in there, but it's there. We've got Rocket, Challenge, Fossil, Skyridge. One of the last sets in the WOTC era was 35 for the month. 35 PSA 10 hollows, which is fantastic. Base just 31, so 498 Skyridge cards got graded, 35 were PSA 10 hollow, 24,000 base, and it got less. It just goes to show how many people just didn't treat base well. I mean, that has to be the clear indicator for it. It's not even close in comparison. We're talking a percentage of it, not even a chunk. So that's pretty cool to see. It was in jungle, just about in double digits for those. Creeping down. Legendary, we moved to 0 at the bottom. Not a single Legendary Collection PSA 10 hollow in February. Revelation, there was just one. Such a low population in general, but 1 out of 1129. Legendary, the same, almost identical numbers for both of them. 1 digit off. Base 2, no love there. That's not surprising. Discovery 7 out of 1,000. Better numbers than the bottom of this list, but still, it's pretty interesting. Now, something that I did think was pretty similar was Aquapolis and Skyridge being so close and having the obviously love there, but we do have reverses and there is some other aspects to factor in with this. Just that'd be interesting for you guys to see, kind of a breakdown for the month as a whole, see where we're at, the kind of numbers that have come out. But all in all, let's tally this up for the whole of February. Like we talked here, 311 cards were PSA 10 hollow. It's nothing. There's maybe a handful of the 1%, the top 1% of Pokemon collectors that could probably buy those up. Before everyone else even tries to get a hold of a single one of them. So I know prices have dipped a little bit right now because this is what got graded for this month, but there is inventory out there that people are sitting on, people are selling, people are trading. There's all that going on. So there is stuff out there. This isn't just the amount out, but fresh being added, there isn't a whole difference. In terms of this category, there's a lot of cards coming out. You can see that clearly. How many got graded in February for WOTC? 68,000 almost. 68,000 WOTC cards are getting knocked out. So in 1 month, there's going to be availability. But if you're looking for that 10, you're looking for that one that you really want, it's not coming up soon. So yeah, interesting one. We had a lot of good stuff to talk about this week. You guys, let me know what you think. I'll throw to the side here. I'll throw the link to the PSA return where we're giving away a Charizard slab, a PSA 9 Charizard. Get in there, get involved, leave a comment so you can be drawn. When we hit 100 subscribers, we'll be there. If you haven't subscribed on this video, you've watched the whole thing, please tell me you've enjoyed it. Subscribe, like, comment. I really want to know what you guys thought on this video too. So get involved. Thanks for your time with me, and I'll see you next time, guys. Hope you have a good weekend.